Hi, I'm John Mondelli. I produced the animation and the music for the Avengers Infinity War and Hamilton mashup Thanilton, and I work on music for a lot of Andu Films projects, and this is the room where it happens. Whenever I start working on a music parody, the first thing I do is just try to get as familiar as possible with the original piece of music. So I listen to it over and over and just study it and analyze it and try to pick apart everything that makes up that track. You know, how it's mixed, how it's arranged, what instruments they used. For instance, when I did the Beatles, I was really trying to recreate that vintage 1960s rock and roll recording sound. When we did Baywatch of the Caribbean and Ranger Things, the themes for those have a lot of synth elements, and so I used a lot of synthesizer plugins and tried to emulate those tones. When we did It Perfect, there were no instruments at all because it's all a cappella. So everything on that arrangement had to be done vocally or through beatboxing. So each video is its own unique challenge, and with this one, we were really trying to go for the sound of a modern Broadway musical, which in a lot of cases is both a mixture of a rock band and an orchestra combined into one. So when I start recording, I just begin with the basics and start simple and build from there. Once I get that figured out, then I go to work in Pro Tools, and I'd say 99% of the time, the first thing I lay down is the drum track, because the drums really are the backbone that sort of support the whole thing. Now, we don't have a 50-piece orchestra on call for every video we do, so most of the time, if there's an orchestra, it's kind of on me to recreate the sound of an orchestra. And fortunately, I've got a nice collection of orchestral libraries that I've built up over the years. And these are really cool virtual instruments that have real samples of instruments that you control with your MIDI keyboard. So it's kind of like having an orchestra at your fingertips. So once all the music is laid down and I'm satisfied with it, now it's finally time to move on to the vocals. And this should be the first element of the entire thing that is different from the original recording. Up until now, it should feel practically identical. A lot of times we'll bring in singers to do things like we did for It Perfect. For this one, I actually got to do the voice of Thanos, which I had an amazingly fun time doing because I love being big, loud, obnoxious characters. I just feel like the songs and every element of these videos should be at 100%. The high production value not only adds to the audience's enjoyment of it, but I think it really adds to the humor, because if everything is taking itself completely seriously, it's just that much funnier. So I want these to feel like you're listening to the original song. I don't even want you to realize that it's been recreated. I want it to sound like you're listening to my shot from Hamilton and somehow we just replaced the vocal track. And so if I've done my job correctly, you won't even realize I did anything at all.
Not throwing away my snap!